Good morning to all the viewers. In this video, we will study about goods and services tax, its introduction and evolution of GST. So GST before that GST is an indirect tax. So we must know that what does the word tax mean? A tax is what it is, a compulsory contribution from a person to the expenses incurred by the state in common interest of all without reference to a specific benefit conferred on any individual. The tax cannot be regarded as voluntary payment or donation. Rather, it is enforced contribution which is exacted through legislative authority. Like a GST, when we say it is an indirect tax, is regarded as indirect taxes in India. There exists dual levy by the union and also by the state government. There are multiple registrations and other compliances under various indirect tax laws. The GST has been introduced in order to overcome the defects of prevailing indirect tax laws. It is correct to treat it as an unprecedented step by the government when India moved into GST on 1st July 2017. The GST has impacted the majority of persons paying indirect taxes. There has been a paradigm shift in the structure and functioning of indirect taxes in India. The new system of GST has subsumed most of the central and state level indirect taxes. When we look at the genesis of GST, in global perspective, France was the first country to implement GST in the year 1954, as the GST has the capacity to raise revenue in the most transparent and neutral manner. And within 62 years of its advent, more than 160 countries across the world have adopted and implemented GST. In Indian perspective, it has now been more than a decade since the idea of GST was mooted in 2004 by Kilkar Task Force. The idea of national GST was mooted by Kilkar Task Force. So the journey of GST in India from its origin in 2004 up to its enactment and implementation in 2017 has gone through many ups and downs. After this, the budget in 2004, when idea was mooted by Kilkar Task Force, immediately then Union Finance Minister Shri P. Chidambaram announced in his budget 2007-8 that GST would be introduced from 1st April 2010. The abeyance period of GST, many hurdles and problems came on that way, and GST could not be implemented. It kept missing several deadlines, but finally gained the momentum once again in 2014. 19 December 2014, NDA government tabled the Constitution Bill, that is 122nd Amendment Bill 2014 on GST in the Parliament. In 2015, on 6 May 2015, the Lok Sabha passed the bill, and in 2016, on 3rd August 2016, the Rajya Sabha passed the bill. On 8th September 2016, subsequent to the ratification of the bill by more than 50% of the state's constitution, 122nd Amendment Bill 2014 received the assent of the President on 8th September 2016. And finally, on 27th March 2017, bills were passed, and CGST legislation, CGST Bill 2017, IGST Bill 2017, UTGST Bill 2017, GST Compensation to State Bill 2017 was introduced in Lok Sabha. And on 29th March 2017, Lok Sabha passed all these bills, and with the receipt of the President assent on 12th April 2017. The bills were enacted on 1st July 2017, and then the GST was implemented. There are various facts related to the GST which we must know when we study about the GST. So India, the first country to implement GST was France in the earlier 1954, and India has the highest tax slab in the world, that is 28%, next to Argentina, which is 27%. Indian GST has four rate structure, that is 5%, 12%, 18%, 28%, with cess on sin goods and luxury items. Then there's a special rate of 3% on precious metal like gold. And GST is covered under 5 legislations, that is Central GST Act, State GST Act, Integrated GST Act, UT GST Act, and Compensation to GST Act. Then all the taxation policies and their implementation are based on recommendation of the GST Council. The taxable event of GST is what supply. So what does taxable event mean? Taxable event in a law is the event of happening of which result in imposition of tax. That is activities, tax liability. Just for example, as we know, income tax under this Income Tax Act, when we earn income, that is a taxable event, right? Under this Income Tax Act, when we earn income. So that is a taxable event. And in excise duty, the manufacturing of goods. In the same manner, in service tax, the provision of services. In the same way, in GST, the supply, the word supply of GST, supply of goods or services or both is the taxable event. And Assam was the first state to ratify GST, but Telangana was the first state to pass state GST bill. The GST Council was constituted with its headquarters in Delhi, and 1st July 2017, GST was implemented, and 1st July is observed as GST Day every year. So with this, I think the GST evolution of GST is quite clear. Thank you, all of you.